Later, they will say I should not laugh. Later, they will tell me, why do you like laughing? Stop laughing. Why can't I laugh on some people's stupidity? Like, oh, black people, this is what white people are now saying. Okay, I just want you guys to watch because the last time I checked, every single thing that they've said is like an opposite. But it is crazy whereby these people know the truth and still want to say things like this in the media, and a lot of people don't want me to laugh at their stupidity. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also join my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's roll the clips. I'll be back with commentaries.
Watch this video and let's talk about it.
White culture superior to black culture in every single way. When you hear black people say white people don't have any culture, what they're really trying to say is black culture is superior to ours.
I'm Dr. Michael H. Ford, and let's talk about what you just saw. A white man just said that white culture is superior to black culture in every single way, and then said when black people say white people don't have culture, what they really mean is black culture is superior. There is no agreed upon metric for cultural superiority. Superior by what standard? Decided by whom? According to Illuminate's 2025 year-end report, R&B and hip-hop remained the most consumed genre in the world, accounting for 1 in 4 audio streams globally. Jazz, blues, gospel, R&B, rock and roll. Every genre that defines American music globally has its roots documented in black culture. Rock and roll was heavily shaped by Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Fats Domino. The music industry once segregated it into a separate category called race music, marketed only to black audiences, until white artists started performing it, and it crossed over to mainstream markets. A 2025 study of over 3,000 consumers found that 79% of Americans acknowledge black Americans' cultural influence across music, across fashion, across food, politics, sports, and beauty. The English language itself has been shaped by black culture. Words like jazz, banjo, gumbo, tote trace directly to African linguistic roots. African American vernacular English introduces new vocabulary into mainstream American English with every generation. Black culture is so dominant and so recognized that its absence is noticeable. The culture that built the music, the culture that shaped the language, the culture that defined the style, the culture that moved the world. That culture was never inferior. You do not borrow from something inferior. You borrow from something you cannot replicate. If you want the full story on this topic, I created something for our community. A free, searchable library of Black history, racism, and health equity. Every topic sourced and verified. Visit healingstartswithknowing.com. Healing starts with knowing. Follow for more.
But if we're gonna use your logic, Black American culture, what is it, y'all? Entirely stolen from white people. Like I said in another video, Cuban culture is more closely tied to, related to, similar to African culture and Africa than Black American culture is. You guys are far removed from Africa. Your entire culture is white people culture that you've adopted and made your own, because that's how culture works.
Why is it okay for black people to want to protect their culture, but as soon as white people want to protect their culture, they're racist? Why is that?
Notice how whenever a bigoted white person brings up this talking point, they never give a concrete example. Not a holiday, not art, not music, nothing. Because if they did, they would have to admit they only mean the bigoted stuff. The freedom to demean, exclude, and oppress others while centering themselves.
Diversity is blatantly lying or stupid because
she don't see us. You see me?
Yeah. Because how did America become the greatest economy on the planet in 1890? Did they have diversity back then? No. You.
Seriously, I'm gonna keep saying this until I die. American culture is Black American culture. It just gets filtered out and watered down and whitewashed until they can give credit to a white guy. Jazz, country, rock and roll, rap, all Black American creation. And then you want to move to the protest side. Bro, not only did Black Lives Matter spark actual other things like Asian Lives Matter and Queer Lives Matter and Trans Lives Matter, but on the flip side, when racist assholes were trying to say, well, Blue Lives Matter, through humanity, what happened is it translated into less of a sarcastic thing and more into a genuine, like, support your nurses and firefighters and EMTs. So even the people who might be the most discriminatory, they got to think of Black American for their own fucking views.
I'm so grateful that we're in a day and age where people are finally starting to keep it real. Finally. We literally created all of this shit. The whole entire system. There just wasn't a thing such as patents and all of that when we created it. So it was stolen. The whiskey that you're drinking, created by a Black person. The things that you use around your house, created by a Black person. Black American person. If you're a woman and you get your menstrual and you use a pad, created by a Black American woman. Like, we literally created all of this shit. There's a plethora of things that we could run off, but it was stolen. And that's just the truth. I mean, take a look around how our very culture is like recycled and reused and outsourced, and everybody is pulling from Black American culture. And this is why we get so much hate, because love and hate lives on the same spectrum. They love you so much that they start to hate you. They imitate you. They emulate you. They want to displace you, and they want to replace you. Destiny swapping. Just keep your eyes open. But they know. We even teach them how to wash their ass properly. I've seen some videos of white women saying, oh my God, I found Black women washing up, bathing TikTok, shower TikTok. They like, when they was little kids, they used to get in a pool and their mother said that they was clean. I seen another woman that was in the army, and she said that Black women taught her how to properly bathe herself, a clear woman. She didn't know proper hygiene. Some of them was wiping back to front, not front to back. If you know, you know. If you're a woman, you know. I had a white friend. I'm just going to keep it real. We was out, story time, quick story time. This is long, so maybe you want to press this, hold it down for the 2 times. Quick story time. We was out, and we was hanging out. We went to a bodega, like, in the city. Went downstairs. She sat her bare ass on the toilet. I screamed. I said, bitch, you better not ever sit your bare ass on a public restroom toilet without at least putting some tissue down. Squat. From then on out, she never sits her ass on a toilet, a bare public toilet. She learned that from me. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
In my video about Black Americans and African American culture, I was like having this one like text thread with this one guy, and he was saying that, like, I told him that African American culture, it evolved and developed, like its origin was African culture that was brought here during the transatlantic slave trade because we brought our culture, and he wasn't like listening to what I was saying. And he, like, I felt like he was moving the goalposts, because every time I was like, soul food, how we cook our food, yams, okra, he was like, but this place uses this food. That doesn't mean that they're this. But it's not about the food itself. It's about how we make it. And it's about how we make it, how it's prepared, all of those things that matter. And our music, even, all the rhythmic and the call and response and all those different things. Yes, there's other places in the world that use these things in their music. But the distinction is that we know that those things that are within our music today came, like, we have them and they're here because if you look back, that's the culture that Africans brought with them here. And one thing that always gets me is that whenever I have these like debates or whatever in comment sections, it's always a quick Google search away. And I feel like one thing people don't do is that when they don't think they're wrong, they never search up anything that could prove them wrong. Like, I'll be like, oh, like, I'll say something that goes against what they're saying, and they won't search it up and actually see. Like, they just want to be right, and they don't really think that they could be wrong. And I feel like that's the problem with having these talks, because people just don't think that they could be wrong nowadays, and they just want to be on this like they just want to be above you and just believe that they're smarter than you. Like, in the comment thread, he was literally like, "You have a lot to learn, young brother," and I'm just like, "What are you talking about? Nothing you said is things that I don't know, and some of the stuff you're saying is just wrong." So it's just interesting to me to see a lot of people just be loud and wrong.
In honor of Black History Month, let's talk about the things that Black men and women did that white people took credit for. Let's start off with a little rock and roll. Everyone thinks that the pioneer was Elvis Presley, but rock and roll was already in Black communities. They had musicians like Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, who actually pioneered the genre. And his song Hound Dog that he made millions off of, that song was written and sang by a Black woman, Big Mama Thornton, and she barely made anything from that song. Dr. Marion Sims, the father of modern gynecology, he did his experiments on enslaved Black women, Anarcha, Betsy, and Lucy. A core branch of modern medicine exists because enslaved women were treated as disposable research material. Country music. White people took it and made it so unlistenable. Turn that shit off. The US Capitol and the White House were built by black masons, carpenters, and brickmakers. Everything about this country, everything that we have now is because of black men and women. And these people took those buildings. They took all these things that black men and women have built and they used it to create a system to hurt them. So ask yourself, what have white people really done?
But there is sort of an American culture, and these admittedly are downstream from race and ethnicity.
Well, I don't think it's paperwork. But I also don't think that if you're white and you've been here for 2 years and you're from Norway or South Africa, that you're more American than someone who's the direct descendant of slaves.
Are descendants of slaves really American, though?
Yeah.
What makes them American? Because they've been here.
They've been here and they've fought in every single war since our country's founding. So yeah, I think people who shed blood, who fought for the soil of our land, regardless of the color of their skin, are more American than people who got here 2 years ago.
Most of that blood has been white blood.
Sure, that doesn't change the fact that the individual who lost their life or who sacrificed doesn't change that fact. I mean, proportionally, black men are only 13% of the population. So yeah, I mean, most of it is going to be white blood, absolutely. But there are brave black men in my state, in our state, who have gone to war, not just in the global war on terror, but in Korea, in Vietnam, World War I, World War II, the Civil War. Their contributions matter just as much.
That's true, but predominantly that experience has been one reserved for people of European descent. And I think it's important for us to make that observation and not just count that out.
Well, you can make the observation. It doesn't make it, it's an observation. It's empirically true, But look, if you're someone from Sweden or from South Africa, and you're white and you come here and you've been here for 2 years and you are on an H-1B visa, you are not more American than a black American or a white American who's been here for 5 or 6 generations.
I hear you. And we can move on after this, but...
Disrespect black Americans all the time. Y'all come over here and disrespect black Americans all the time. Do you know what's really funny about this? As an Afro-Latina, babe, what do you think Latin culture comes from? Since you can clearly acknowledge, right, that Cuban culture is more closely tied to African culture than it is of the Europeans, right? Because that's what you're really getting at, right? Like, oh, no, we're closely related to Africa. We're not like the Europeans. But the irony is that white Cubans love their whiteness, baby. Love their whiteness. So much so that they absolutely practice racism. So much so that they absolutely will usually deny any of that African heritage until it's time to be an asshole. Until it's time for you to want to be cool, right? Until it's time for you to want to really rep your culture, right? In your own countries, you disrespect the black people all the time. I know, because I started this off by saying I'm an Afro-Latina. Do you know how many Latinos that look just like this girl go through this whole thing where they first don't want to speak in Spanish to me and I can respond in Spanish and they will literally respond in English, and it's like, no bitch, I'm speaking to you in Spanish. Hablo español. Like, hi. But no, it's so hard to believe that, right? And then when I do speak Spanish, then what happens? You get the, oh, thank God, she's actually Latina. She's not black. But I am black. And I've been black my whole life. I have 2 black parents. One of them speaks Spanish fluently. Or spoke Spanish fluently because he passed away. But again, full black. Both sides. Black on both sides. And also Latina. The same way that y'all can't stand that Haitians are Latinos. And the only reason that you don't like that Haitians are Latinos is because Haitians are dark skinned. That's it. That's literally the only reason. Because if y'all can literally sit there and fix your mouth to say that they're not Latinos, but Dominicans are Latinos, they literally are on the same island. The island of Hispaniola. Baby, it's the same fucking island. That's like me saying people from Long Island are not from New York, but people from Queens are. Babe, it's the same island. And as a Brooklyn girl, Brooklyn is also technically a part of Long Island, but Don't say that too loud. But I want to talk about this Black American culture bit for a second, because the fact that you even think that Black culture is white culture that was stolen lets me know enough. Who do you think taught white people to wipe their ass? Quickly. And who do you think taught them people how to wash their ass? And I know that it has everybody's head in a conundrum, but I really want you to think about this one, okay? You genuinely want me to believe that them white people from Europe came over here and taught niggas how to till the land? We ain't even speak the same language, but you want me to believe that they taught us how to till the land? You think they taught us their culture? And we stole it and then just made it our own? No, baby. I know that cultural assimilation is something that Latinos, especially white Latinos, practice all the time because you're too ashamed to maintain the richness in your culture as is. So you prefer to assimilate and to lose some of your culture so that you could be more liked and more palatable by white people. But something that y'all always seem to want to stick to and hold near and dear to when y'all choose to assimilate is to hate Black people, because that is white culture. White American culture is steeped and rooted in racism, specifically anti-Black racism. So the fact that you even think that Black people are using white culture that was stolen, no, honey, no, you big fucking jackass. White American culture, quite literally, is stolen culture from Black people and natives that were on this land. Country music, Black people. Jazz, Black people. Pop, Black people. Rhythm and blues, Black people. And then when we go over to the Latino countries, right? And we talk about the Latino contributions, baby, they came from Black people. But y'all don't get to claim that as yours when you benefit and love to align yourselves with the proximity to whiteness and what you believe that will gain you. You don't get to play both sides, honey. That's not how that works. And especially not while you're being racist as shit. Because to fix your mouth to say that Cubans are more closely related to Africa and the African heritage than Black Americans, because Black Americans are practicing stolen white culture, is literally insane. You have to be a special kind of stupid, because only an absolute jackass would ever fix their mouth to say something that's stupid and say it with your chest and mean it, and then be in your comments defending what you're saying as though it's not wrong. Because, honey, you're dead ass wrong. You're literally dead ass wrong. You don't get a pass for saying nigga because you're Cuban. Especially not because you're Cuban. I'm Cuban in Miami. As a white Cuban? As a Cuban that's a little fair-skinned? Mm-mm. And I will say that I agree that, no, Latino culture doesn't suck. It doesn't. And the reason that I know that it doesn't suck is because people like me. So no, Latino culture doesn't suck. It's not always that Latinos want to be Black. Because there are Black Latinos. And that is my issue when y'all white Latinos come up here to say stupid shit like this. Because y'all love to act like you're not racist as fuck in your own countries. Y'all love to act like you don't practice colorism. Y'all love to act like you don't practice texturism. And then want to do shit like claim to love the African heritage of your Cuban culture. Babe, you should be ashamed of you.
I never made a video on this because I wasn't sure if it was necessary, but the conversation keeps popping up. So I thought I'd take some time to explain why some people still hold the false belief that Black Americans don't have a culture. But first, close your eyes with me for a second and imagine a person that is Ashanti, that is Igbo, that is Bokongo, that is Mandinka. Okay, open your eyes. That's a Black American. That's a lot of powerful ancestry and culture. There are some African Americans that are also the descendants of Native Americans due to the mixing of enslaved Africans and maroon Africans with local Native American populations, though that is often overestimated. There's also the European ancestry that we have that we don't celebrate for obvious reasons, but essentially Black Americans have a culture of cultures and ethnicity of ethnicities. And over time, we became recognized as an overall ethnicity of either African American or Black American, whichever term people prefer to use. So not only do we have culture, we have cultures. And one of the easiest ways to look at the variation of African American cultures is by region. So if you were to look at the way people speak, dress, and eat according to region, you would see a lot of differences between Black folks that live in the Southeast, like me growing up in Georgia and South Carolina, and someone that grew up in the Northeast in New York, or someone from the Southwest in Texas, and someone from the Northwest. There would be a lot of differences culturally, but then we would all also belong to the overall African American culture and ethnicity. Now, the reason why someone might have the mistaken belief that we don't have a culture is really due to chattel slavery. Due to the legacy of chattel slavery, almost everything that African Americans create is considered to be something that we don't have ownership over. And it is something that is repeatedly taken and repackaged by mainstream white America. And this happens over and over again. A recent example is the different dances on the Clock app, where people were taking them and getting the credit, but it originated from Black creators. The same thing happened long ago with rock and roll, with legends like Little Richard, but people like Elvis Presley getting the credit even though he stole everything. So what you're witnessing is not a people that don't have a culture. You've just witnessed repeated cultural theft.
I have been asked this question so many times over the years, and this is a golden question. So you said you were mixed in another comment, so I'm a little confused with your question, but I'm going to go with what you say right here, okay? How are white women supposed to ask the questions to learn about culture if you keep getting shut down? Well, first of all, you positioned yourself to be a victim already. So it's already woe is me to get it started. And then on top of woe is me, answer me. So answer me because I need to know, and woe is me. All right. And I was going to give you this really long, drawn out kind of like lesson, but I'm not. We out here surviving, lady. Black people are surviving. We are in survival mode with this administration. We want to know what happened to Nolan. And we trying to figure out how we going to get Carmelo out. Okay. We are boycotting Asian stores for treating us like shit. Okay. And we are also trying to get ourselves together. We're trying to put our dollars back into our own community. That's what we're doing. While you have questions, and your questions, you said about braids, somebody asked questions about braids. Why do you need to know about braids right now? We in a Mayday situation. This administration would wipe us out if they could. But you want to know about our culture. What, how we dance, how we sing, how we cook, how we raise our children, braids. It don't matter, because whatever the answer would be for that, you're going to appropriate. You'll take the information, twist it, rub it down, slap it, and then you'll have it and make it your own. Did you know that Bantu knots are now called mini buns because white women are wearing them? That. And I'm not trying to be rude. Actually, Black people, Black Americans are one of the, probably the most nice, kindest, and helpful people out here. But we're tired. We're tired of frivolous, bullshit-ass questions that have nothing to do with us advancing. We are zoned out right now. We either resting or boycotting. And if you are not doing the work, opening a book and learning on your own before you come with a question, we ain't trying to hear it. So maybe I'm shooting you down too. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's just that we're tired. And when you're entitled, again, I don't know if you mixed or not, but if you're not mixed, and if you are mixed with a white mother and you just don't know, it's entitlement to even expect us to try to answer a question that no matter what the answer is, you're going to either appropriate, deny, conquer it, or get right back into your circle of people and pretend that that wasn't the answer. And we have seen that time and time again. We have told y'all more answers over the years than y'all have ever had to ask questions. But you still have the questions because you don't believe the answer. So these are reoccurring questions. And then you actually expect us generationally to not be tired of answering them. So you don't think my great-grandmother was asked the same damn question? And now 3 generations down, here I am. You think my daughter's going to be asked this question? And my grandkids, when they come, it's going to be the same damn question. Y'all don't have questions. Y'all are, I'm not going to say obsessed because they floating that word around so much right now. It's hard to think of another word though. But y'all, the questions are, I'm shooting you down. That's all. I'm not even going to go into it. You getting shot down again because do the work. Because do the work. It's so much information out there. And I'll see you at the next boycott. Okay? All right.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for joining. Hope you guys literally enjoyed every single clip I was able to roll out for you guys. And the fact that some of these white people think in their widest dream that black people are actually copy not black people. Oh my god, Sonia, can you get it correctly? The fact that these white people, not all white people, some white people think that Black American culture is gotten from white culture is crazy. But first, let's talk about what Black Americans culture has literally contributed and what Black American culture is all about. Black Americans culture is a collection of tradition, acts, language, music, food, religion, practices, social movements, fashion, and other forms of expression developed by Black Americans, shaped by Black Americans' heritage, the experience of slavery, segregation, migration, and life in the United States. Clock it. So one of the contribution, and as we all know, because you keep saying it, I will keep doubting it, is music, where this is the globally influential part of Black Americans culture. Major genres developed were heavily shaped by Black Americans include blues, jazz, gospel, R&B, soul, hip hop, rap, rock and roll, house music, and disco. Tika, 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 right? So these genres became foundation for an enormous part of the world global music industry, rock, pop, electronic music, Afrobeat, K-pop, and many others contemporary styles have incorporated music ideas originated from Black Americans tradition. Two, hip hop culture. Okay, let me just leave the each one of them, okay, and just go to the next one, where this is actually where their civil rights movement as well, where African Americans display a central role of movement that transform Americans' law. Okay, sports. Black Americans have profoundly influenced American sports. Major contribution which include basketball, American football, baseball, boxing, track and field, tennis, and golf, where figures such as Jackson Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Tiger Woods, Jesse Owens, and so on and so forth, became globally sporting icons. Films and television, where Black Americans actors, directors, writers, and producers has transformed entertainment as a whole. Examples like Sydney Poitier, Spike Lee, Ava Dovena, Jordan Pelly, Tara Perry, Viola Davis, Eddie Murphys, and so on and so forth. Black American storytelling has helped bring African histories, experience, and perspective to audience worldwide. We still have entrepreneurship and business, where Black Americans have also contributed in America business and innovation despite anonymous historical barriers. We still have hair and beauty, where Black Americans community have developed major tricultural industrial around braids, cornrow, afros, locks, natural hair, barber's shop culture, Black-owned cosmetics, specialized hair care products, where these styles have increasingly influenced mainstream fashion and international beauty. So if we want to name, we still have a whole lot of here. We still have food. We still have a lot of things to talk about. So when I actually saw this video and this woman was literally saying that, oh, that Black Americans actually stole their culture, that every single thing that actually came out of the Black Americans' culture is from their culture, I was literally shocked because the last time I checked, the colonizers don't have any culture apart from colonizing. That's just the whole truth. Their only culture that they know how to do best is to colonize. Do you get? So whenever I hear some of them saying, "Oh, Black Americans stole our culture," it gets me pissed off. Whenever I hear others even saying, "Oh, Black Americans do not have culture," then I ask them, "What particular culture are you now using?" Because you guys will go ahead, steal all of these things from Black Americans and still want to take credit for it, and then you expect Black Americans not to talk. Then you're gonna be a joker, right? Let me know what you think about this video. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you, liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, with no further ado, like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.